What's up, everybody? Brad Modrich here, founder of Conflict. Today is a very special day. It's the first day of the Conquer Your Conflict, so to speak, kind of a podcast that we're going to be working on. We don't know where it's going to go. Today is day one, though, and I'm joined by two great people. Mr. Dylan Shively. Welcome, Dylan.
Hey, guys.
How are you, brother? Everything
Thanks for
good?
having me.
And I got Mr. David Breedlove. How are you, brother?
Love my
Okay. Two business partners in my network marketing company, and they have been doing great things. And the purpose of this is for us to talk about hot topics. Every week, we're going to be providing some type of good content that's either going to be based on sales, it's going to be based on leadership. Hell, it could be based on love, relationships. We're going to talk about so many different things over the course of the next 12 months. So stay tuned. We're going to kick it though today because all of us are in a network marketing business and all of us are an entrepreneur. And I know that word right now is like a coin phrase, entrepreneur, right? It's like the cool thing. But we're businessmen. It's a trend, right? It's a trend. So we're businessmen. Those of you that don't know me, I was a vice president with a national health club chain, LA Fitness, for the past 17 years. This past December, I recently retired. My wife has been killing it in the aesthetics game, so we opened up a company called Lehigh Valley Laser and Aesthetics, which is hers. I get to help coach from the back, but she's doing really well. And then my network marketing company that has to deal with the deregulation of electric has been exploding. So that gave me the ability to walk away from my 9-to-5 because of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. And published author now, finally, came out last year. The beginning of this year. It's called The Takeover. Me and my good friend and business partner and associate, George Kafalis, who is a presidential director in our network marketing company. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things today.
That's right.
So let's get to it. I know one of the hot topics right now is in our business is we have this sell mentality. And you know, I know we touched base on it. You put a little recording out, I think last week or this week, in regards to the importance of creating a relationship when you're selling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just how important it is. So I'm gonna turn it over, to either one of you, whoever wants to kind of take the lead on it. What is selling to you?
So for me, I like to kind of just take the whole word of selling out of it and replace it with actually finding a solution or helping, the customer, the people who are coming to you. Because something that we take for granted is that people will walk in our doors every day if you have a brick and mortar, or we speak to people every single day and we assume that they're just automatically going to do business with us. And most people just say like, I'm just going to sell this person this and this and this and, try to maximize the sale and do all these things that don't benefit the customer and really don't benefit yourself either. So to me, a big thing is help your people. Like, they could go to any building in the world. They could message any person in the world. Like, anything that you do, I don't care what it is, in any profession that you have or whatever you're trying to build, there's so many other people that do what you do. So I think it's really important to find why should they do it with you? And they should know that it's going to be because you're going to do the right thing by them.
But you got to do the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't do the right thing, man, you're not going anywhere. I don't care how you do. I mean, you might go from like here to like there a little bit, but then enough people are going to find out on the internet, and then you're just going to go like that.
Right.
That's it. You're done.
I used to call that situational winning.
Right.
It's situational. You may win once or twice, but in my career and my track record of building teams and developing teams, you got to be systematic with it. And I always used to say to my guys, and a good buddy of mine, Tyler Long, I know you're going to watch this one day, he coined this phrase, are you systematic or situational? What do you think about sales?
Well, I think it's really important that people understand that, like, even when somebody, like you were saying, they come into your store, they obviously want what you guys sell, but, more often than not, people buy from two types of people. It's like either somebody they trust or somebody that, they look up to, something like that. So, I think it's really important that you establish yourself as somebody that you can trust. So, like you just said, when it comes down to like, people could buy from anybody. So, especially in network marketing, it's like we all have the same product. We're not allowed to change the price. We're not allowed to do anything like that. So, what do you do to set yourself apart? And really, the best thing that you can do is establish some sort of value coming from you. You know, so you said, like, for example, energy deregulation. There's tons of different companies out there that do that. So what's different about us? And the thing that I like about our team, as I like to call it, is we actually take the time to get to know our customers. I go to like Walmart and stuff like that, and there's people come up to me all the time. They actually have a booth.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and they're just signing people up. I don't even know if they're looking at that person's bill. And it's not to knock on them, you know, maybe that's just the way that they were trained to do it, but that's not the way we train to do it. So when I talk to somebody about the opportunity and they say, well, you know, I've been burned by this type of thing in the past, or I got this crazy bill, I said, well, we do things a little bit differently. You know, consider me more like a broker, because when you have a broker, whether it's insurance or whatever, that is your go-to person. So if you have a problem with something, or you're not sure about something, and I have people that check in with me regularly on the bills that I've saved them money with, and they're like, hey, you know, can you just tell me how much I saved this month? Because they're still not sure, you know, and I can break it down for them. And not only can I break it down for them, I can show them exactly how I broke it down simply, you know, so that they can understand as well. But like, that's the difference. That's the difference. You know, that's the value. I'm here for you whenever you need me.
Yeah, that's such a huge difference. I just had someone today. It was today. Today was a busy day. I just had someone today reach out to me through Facebook or DM'd me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I see you doing these business calls. What is it about?" So get him on the line. I start talking to him about it, and the second he heard stream, he heard, "Oh, no, okay. You know, I tried this one time. I went to a meeting. This person did that. Something happened with a bill." So, and I said, listen, I said, I completely get what you're talking about, because I've experienced what you're talking about, like people having a bad name. Like, you already have a bad name. I said to this person, I was like, you know, we're just going to call him Joe. I said, "Joe, do you trust me?" He said, "Without a doubt." Like, it wasn't even a question. I said, "Do you think that I would put you in any type of situation that would jeopardize our friendship, our relationship, or your livelihood?" And he was just like, "No, absolutely not." I said, "Then trust me. Yeah. Trust me and watch what I can do." And the second that I broke it down that way, and I said, "Listen, I'm putting my name on it. Like, I'm stamping all over it that this is a quality product. And if you think that I would do anything like that, then first off, you don't know who I am. Right. But two, I'm going to put you in the right direction. I'm going to set you up for success." And the second I put it to him like that, he was like, "Okay, well, when can we meet?" Right. Because then he knew that the validity of a good product, and that he wasn't accepting any of the BS excuses that he heard from everyone about what the product was. And again, he was buying from me. Right. And this is such an important part. Dave mentioned earlier, he just said, people buy from people that they like and that they trust. Right. And that, I mean, that's been drilled into my head in day one. And that just comes down from building rapport, and really, if your prospect comes in front of you, like really finding out what is it exactly they want. Not what I can sell, not what, you know, how much can I make off this person? It's, first off, I have this product. This might not even be the right product for you. You may need something completely different. I don't know if I got the right product. Right. Tell me about what you're looking for. Right. Does that make sense? 100%. Super, super, super important. What advice could you give to somebody who's just starting off in sales, someone who may be watching this on on the multi-level marketing, on the network marketing program that you're doing? What would you advise to them as being a new salesperson? Right? They're just starting out. They've seen the opportunity. They're all wowed, but they're like, "Well, I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell." Right. What would you say to that person?
Well, you know, I think when I think about selling, I think about, you know, the product, and, you know, this was a huge mistake I made in the very beginning. Actually, I started off kind of the right way, but then as I gained momentum, this is what I did, right? I got 15 customers, bang, like that. 3 weeks, got them. And then for me, I was like, I really like this. I don't have to swing a hammer. I don't have to do anything like that. You know, so I was like, if I know everything about energy deregulation, I'm going to get crazy customers. So what I did was I started studying about all this, and what now is kind of coined as technobabble. And, when people would give me their objections, I'd come back at them with like, oh, well, there was monopolies and there was this and there was that. And like, you just see the glaze go over their face. And I didn't understand. It was like, now I'm like really, really putting in effort, and I seem to like, I've come to like a plateau. And so I guess if I could just make a suggestion, that if you're, don't think so much about the product. We were talking about it earlier. It's like, it's more or less, what is this service going to do for somebody? How's this going to benefit them? Is it going to free up their time so that they get to, spend more time at home with their family? Are they in real estate? Like, is this a way for them to maximize their cash flow? Think about that kind of stuff. Like, what is this going to do for the person? How are they going to benefit from this? And start along those lines, and do not worry about getting the sale the first time. Right. That was another thing, man. It was just like, if somebody started to give me objections, I got super defensive about it. You know what I mean? And it got to the point where it's just like, the messages stopped coming back. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I need to slow down and take a different approach here. Sure. But I think that's something common that a lot of people do first getting into this. So like, don't feel bad if you're in that position. If anything, it's just a learning experience.
Yeah. There you go. What do you got? Someone just starting out, they're getting into sales, and I know you're good at building teams. You're on your 5th location at your Verizon stores. What do you tell that entry-level salesperson or entrepreneur? Bit of advice.
So, first-time salespeople, I can't stress this enough. Managers, leaders, owners, you're probably going to hate me right now, right? But I have to be honest. So, again, I like to try to replace the word sell as much as possible with just so many other terms, because if they think they got to sell, then they got to be a salesperson. And like you said, oh, I'm not a salesperson. And they don't realize that when you went for the interview, you sold yourself as a quality employee that should join the organization. When you make new relationships with people, you sell yourself that you have some type of value where people want to be friends with you, right? So naturally, people have this sales thing down. They just don't even know it because nobody's ever exposed it before. So the big thing is this. Instead of selling for my new salespeople, I want you to learn how to connect with people, right? So you have to build connections and solutions. So how that works is you have to, for one, know everything about your product. Like you said, you want to know everything about deregulation. Why? Because if you can confidently speak about it because you have a full understanding of how it works, there's nobody that's ever going to trip you up because you know your stuff, right? So that's the first part. Know what you're selling.
Product knowledge.
Yes. Know your product or know your service, depending on what you're doing, right? Then here's the part that is almost 5 times as important as that. Know the people you're talking to. You have to connect the needs of the person to what you have to offer. And like you said, there may be a time where what you have to offer isn't the right solution for the person. So as being that salesperson, that solution specialist, whatever you want to label yourself as, whatever your company calls you, know your product, know your people. You can properly connect the two with the right intention. And naturally what's going to happen is you're going to notice, your numbers go up, your sales go up, your commission gets higher, not because you're chasing the money, but because you're chasing solutions for people. You have a genuine interest in people. And when you find that genuine interest in people and the things that you're offering people, whether it's product or service, there's no way that those things don't go together.
Wins all the time.
100%.
Every time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I have a thing where I say you got your value line and then you got your price line, right? So if your value line is here, but your price line is here, and they never connect, you never get a deal. Our job as professional salespeople, and I always like to say, replace the word sell with the word help. Not what can I sell you, what can I help you with, right? So if you're bringing that value line up, and that value line comes from knowing your product, right? Knowing the ins and outs, a feature benefit, how is the product going to benefit that person, everything that both of you just said, what that's doing, it's slowly bringing up the value line. And then the second the value line meets the price, then there's a connection. That's when it makes sense, right, to the buyer. And then at that point, your buyer is going to make a decision to buy instead of quote unquote be sold. Because there's a huge difference between being sold something. I mean, I've been sold. I'm a salesman's dream sometimes. And I just remember sitting there scratching my head thinking, what the freak did I just do, right? Because I was sold. But then if you get someone to say, you know what, I'll do that one, and they make that conscious effort to buy that decision, to make that decision on their own, without like some kind of price drop or some gimmick or some canned or scripted verse, people are like, yeah, I want to do that. And they made the decision to buy. That right there separates the difference between someone buying and being sold.
I want to touch on one thing real quick. I don't know why I just thought of it. Maybe it's still the fat kid in me, even though I'm still trying to like work out, eat healthy. I've been doing that, I promise, right? So
3 days a week?
3 days, yes.
Okay, good.
Yep,
All right.
with her too.
Okay, good.
So
Just so you know, he just started his workout program, so good for him. And if you're out there in social media world and you're watching this and your butt ain't working out, you better get to the gym. Go ahead.
they're watching it from the couch, probably.
Shameless plug.
Anyway, so there's an organization that I think everybody in the world is going to know when I mention what the name is, Chick-fil-A, right? So I noticed something. If you go to McDonald's, you can get a McChicken, right? And it's $1 on the dollar menu. You're going to get the person that's going to say, what do you want, right? You tell them what you want, you ask for an extra sauce, they freak out because they don't want to give you an extra sauce, and you don't have a good experience, but it's, oh, well, I paid $1, so whatever, I expect that. So before my No More Fat Kid days, I was a big fan of Chick-fil-A. I mean, I still am, but I'm trying to, do the right thing. So, but you can essentially get that McChicken at Chick-fil-A, except you're gonna pay like $10 for that meal, right? Yet, when I go to Chick-fil-A, there is a 3-line wrap around the building, right? There is 5 lines open. It's kind of like a Walmart, except everybody's actually at the register, right? And they're all taking your order, and everybody's overpaying for this stuff.
Right.
Why? Why is it, right? So their product is good. They're like you said, like the value meets the price because of the small things they do. And I think a lot of people miss the small things. So they think that they have to be some type of like sales guru. You got to know all this stuff and do all these things. All Chick-fil-A does, something that really stuck out to me, no matter what it was. If it was like, this is junk, I want another one. This one had mayo, I didn't want mayo. If it's a good situation, bad situation, they always end their sentence or they'll say something back to you. It was my pleasure. What else can I do for you? Like, hey, can I have a packet of ketchup? They don't try to charge you extra, and it was my pleasure. And I don't know why that always stuck to me, but if you notice, if you ever go to Chick-fil-A, there's not going to be an employee that doesn't start or finish a sentence, that reciprocal of my pleasure, no matter what it is.
Service.
Right? Yeah.
Service sells.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I was just thinking about how, since we're on the topic of, it's proven that people will pay more for something if you have the genuine interest in the people you're serving, if you know everything about your product, and there's a lot of value that you have to offer
Absolutely.
in doing the small things. People think it's all the big stuff, but there's a lot of small things people miss, like the my pleasure. Yeah. My pleasure just made that McChicken go from $1 to $10, and you'll gladly pay it.
And you'll pay it.
Yeah.
And they pay it.
Well, and I think like when looking at it from a marketer standpoint, like what that does is it invokes an emotion in people. You know what I mean? They feel good about their experience, and if you really want people to be interested in what you have, like you have to allow them to have emotional experience because people buy based on emotion. You know what I mean? After the emotion, then you can back it up with logic. Oh, and our chicken's, not full of steroids and hormones, and it's this, and it's that. But like the first and foremost, you turn their day around. You know what I mean? By giving them that extra service that you don't get at other places. And it's true, yeah. I mean, except on Sundays, like I pull in there and it's closed and I'm like, right.
So we're gonna leave it off on a couple words of wisdom for today from the great Zig Ziglar. You know who Zig Ziglar is?
Absolutely.
Okay. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's really the first rule of sales, is really taking a sincere interest in the person who you're talking to, who you're working with, and more importantly, what do they want? Not about what do you want to sell them. What is it that they want? What is it that they need? And can you find the emotional reason behind what they want? Because that's the real hot button, right? You know, selling gym memberships for years, I sold gym memberships, and we always used to teach our people, well, what do they want? Well, I want to lose weight. Well, they don't want to lose weight. They want to feel good when they take their clothes off and they're at the beach. You know what I mean? There's that emotional reason behind it. Again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I thank you, man. This was a great first episode today. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thanks for having me.
I know there's going to be many more. For those of you that don't follow either of these guys, where can they find you at, Dylan?
Instagram is at official Dylan Shively. There is no unofficial. I'm the one and only. I think I got that part down. I've been saying that a lot, right? And just the normal Facebook. I have my personal one because I like to create true friendships, and I want to reach out to people. And sometimes on the business page, I can't, always access it. But on the personal side, I want to grow a lot of friends. I want to help a lot of people out. So just search my name, Dylan Shively. And the first name is Dylan. Anybody who spells it the other way is wrong. I promise you it's wrong. But anyway, Facebook, Instagram, that's where you can find me.
Big Dave.
All right, on Instagram, my business page is DBL_breedlove. On there, you'll get to see episodes from my minute-long MLM micro podcast, MLM Minutes. And then on YouTube, we just started up the Team Hustle YouTube channel and the Team Hustle podcast. We just aired that first episode of that. And on Facebook, I'm on there as the Clever Money Makers. Look it up. Come connect, network.
Love it. You can find me at Brad Modrich. That's BradModrich on Instagram and on Facebook. Or you could go to www.bradmodrich.com or www.conqueryourconflicts.com. That's all we got for today. It's been great. Remember, conquer your conflicts. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's all I got. Peace.